Want to know the best movies of 2021? Stick around to find out more. Hi, how you doing today, Movie Nation? It's Just Jess here. Hope you're having a good day. And today, yes, guys, today we are going to talk about the best movies of 2021. Now, if we're just meeting for the first time, hello. Hi, my name is Jess. My YouTube channel, It's Just Jess. Here we do movie reviews, giving you the biggest and best reviews of the movies that are releasing at the time. So please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Stick around towards the end because we are going to talk about the best movies of 2021. If you guys have been following me for a while, you know that every single movie that I do a review on here has to be the best premium possible, whether that be IMAX, Dolby, or 3D. I will not watch a regular screen format movie unless I have to, but if there's an IMAX or Dolby screening, I will do that. So AMC Niles 12 in IMAX. That's right, in IMAX. Now, this movie doesn't have a Dolby, so what does that mean? That means the second movie that I went to go see Dolby screenings was AMC Village Crossings 18 in Dolby. That's right, in Dolby. Now, not every movie has an IMAX or Dolby component to it. So what is the last movie in regular format that I went? The last movie theater was right behind me again, AMC Niles 12. Now we're gonna go back to the studio to talk about the best movies of 2021. Stay tuned. Alright guys, we're back in the studio. I apologize for the mic situation. I had it hooked up. For some reason, it just did not work out. Like, the sound is just, I don't know, technical difficulties. However, I'm still shooting the video, but at the same time, I'm also getting a new mic. And I'm figuring out what's wrong with this, so if you see it here, just don't worry about it. Okay, so we're back in the studio. Top 10 movies of 2021. Now, there are rules. We gotta play by the rules. Rules number 1, movies had to be played in theaters. This is very crucial to me and my life and my emotional journey as to why I love movies. If you've seen me for a while, you know that all the movies that I've reviewed on this were basically in theaters, so movies had to be played in theaters. Rule number 2, movies had to come out this calendar year. Now, yes, I am kind of like critic, but I'm still your critic. I'm still your man's. The movie had to come out either January 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021. So I had to be in that calendar year. I don't care if it doesn't name for Oscars or nominees. Rule number 3, any movie that comes out in theaters as well as stuff like HBO Max or a week before, like Netflix's Don't Look Up or Red Notices, are included in this. So let's say a movie had to simultaneously release like HBO's dumb decision to do that, which lost them a lot of money financially and was also dumb for the whole industry in general. Just my take on it. Movies like that will be incorporated. Now, I just want to say thank you for being here, but this isn't my first year yet on YouTube. That'll be my anniversary the week of Valentine's Day, and I just do have a very long emotional journey about why the theaters. And also, to be honest with you guys, YouTube isn't my full-time career just yet, but together we can make that happen so I can give you the best reviews. I could also cover streaming and movies. However, since I don't have enough time because I still have a full-time job and college and all that, I can't do that. So I only focus on theater. So I do apologize about that. Streaming is not something, I don't like being home other than just being here talking to you guys, you know? I'm sorry if like you're looking for like streaming movies. I get it that it's big, but unfortunately I can't do that only in theaters. And besides, I love being in the theaters. It's like my escape. So with that in mind, we're gonna get into the top 10. Number 10 and number 9 are like honorable mentions. Number 10 is In the Heights and number 9 is West Side Story. So I put these in a category together because they're both singing, dancing, costume, romance, and their stories. We saw Hamilton on Disney Plus, but it's also nice to see like musicals on a big screen in IMAX. And both of these I went to go see in IMAX. Now, the reason why I put West Side Story a little bit better than In the Heights, I don't know, I feel like West Side Story, especially when they were talking in Spanish, they didn't have no subtitles. So basically both of them deals with Latinos and underrepresented communities in their region itself. So maybe like New York, San Francisco, Los Angeles. And I really thought it was a nice Latino representation as well as musicals with the dancing, singing, and the costume changes throughout the movie with both of them. And like I love like seeing that in the big screen because you never get to see that. You also see like these action blockbuster type of films. I actually did a review on In the Heights, which I will link below on my channel, and any movie that I've done personally, I will link them below here. Number 8 was Suicide Squad. Finally, we get a rated R movie. Remember 2015's, or I think it was 2016's or 2015's regular Suicide Squad? It wasn't rated R, it was PG-13, even though a lot of people did not like that. I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was like amazing. I get why people bashed on it, but I'm glad that it came out so we can have this. Finally, we get balls to the wall, over the top, crazy action Suicide Squad that should have met from the comics into the big screen. We got returning characters like Harley Quinn played by Margot Robbie, as well Joel returning as Rick Flag. So I really thought this was like one of the best because even though it didn't make money in the box office because it still had the day-to-day HBO release strategy, it was just over the top, fun, exciting, good movie. Balls to the wall, crazy action Suicide Squad that we probably should have gotten back in 2015, but I'm glad we didn't because now we were to experience this in a newfound footage with new people. Number 7 came out early in the year, and I feel like a lot of people are not talking about this. Honestly, Quiet Place Part 2. I saw it in IMAX as well, and I'll link it below. I don't know, guys. So the way I describe Quiet Place Part 2, remember Quiet Place Part 1, how it only deal with the same family structures throughout the whole movie? Even though it gives us backstory to what happened with these monsters, this movie ultimately picks up right where the first one left off. So it's an amazing movie. If Quiet Place Part 3 comes out, it's like ding, 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 which is beautiful phenomenon because sometimes we see this time gap, but now we get to see the full character development of these characters, and it's awesome because finally we get a backstory. It never loses what made the first one so great, which are the characters and the emotions between them. Remember when Purge 1 came out, it was just focused on the house? Well, Quiet Place Part 2 takes that same idea but applies it to the rest of the world. So remember when Purge Anarchy, I think was the second one because election year was 3, Purge Anarchy takes the same Purge formula but addresses it throughout the rest of the world, which Quiet Place Part 2, even though Part 1 had the initial family structure in place, this one still deals with that same family navigating through this new world with these new monsters and the hearing problems, but also fleshes out the backstory of the dynamic of these characters. Based on the first movie, it just expands it to more, but without feeling like, oh, it's convoluted and too much over the top. We got number 6. So we got Escape Room 2 Tournament of Champions. I'm not talking about the theatrical version because that movie definitely had its problems. I'm talking about the re-release extended and original or different cut because it changes the beginning as well as the ending, which was way better to me than the theatrical version. Theatrical version had a weak ending because it changes how you look at the first one, but this one is a little bit more faster, more rooms, more dynamic, more dialogue between the people of the past because both of them know what escape rooms is. Now, this is the Tournament of Champions. So if you love the first one, which this one fleshes out those, but it's just more faster, deadly rooms, quicker thinking. It's like boom, boom, boom. And I never thought the pacing was too slow, but the theatrical version just did not work for me. However, I did wanted to put a positive spin on my original review, but the extended and different cut of the movie, which was re-released, changes everything because we just have more backstory and more details on the characters, on who's making this room. Was it Minos? Was it somebody else? And it's like, what did they do to change it all? Like, why didn't we get the re-release in theatrical? That was the better version in my opinion, I feel like, because the ending of this original film in theatrical was just really dumb and I hated it. I didn't really hate it. I mean, that's kind of too much, but it just changed the way of the first one, and it's just, I don't know. The re-release was so much better, and hopefully they make a part 3, even though this movie did not make a lot in the box office based because of COVID, and it was also in sandwich between the Space Jam, whatever. So yeah, Escape Room 2, if you love the first one, this is just much more of the first one with more dynamics between the characters, but it's faster, deadlier, quicker, and more dialogue because of them, of all of them being champions. Number 5, we're talking about Free Guy, which I did see in IMAX. It's a fun video game movie. Yes, there is romance. There's a lot of cool pop culture references, as well as amazing cameos that I do not want to like ruin for you. But a lot of people thought this was going to be a throwaway movie, and I was like, man, how did they get that into this film? The soundtrack is fun. It's overall blast if you like pop culture reference in general, accompanied with streaming and video game services. So if you're a streamer, if you're a gamer, if you love movies, if you love all those three with some good romance action, Free Guy is a good movie for you. So we got 4, of course. Now we're getting to the top 4, guys. Top 4. ShangChi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. This is a different type of Marvel for me. It's like hand-to-hand combat. It's fun. It has fantasy elements. The Ten Rings itself, I said in my original review, it was like compared to Thor's Mjolnir or Cap's shield or Iron Man's blasters. The Ten Rings, I cannot wait to find out what's the limit of their powers, what they can and cannot do. But of course, there's relationships, there's a little bit of romance, but I just loved ShangChi because it gave us like hand-to-hand comments. So even though it had like real life into it, I love how it had a little bit of fantasy for the MCU to tackle different topics, what they have already known before. So give me an example. Like ShangChi, it was different because this is a character out of left field, and for Marvel to tackle that subject in an era where we have a lot of superheroes that everybody knows, just like Iron Man, Thor, and Captain America, ShangChi did itself a good job because a lot of people did like this. So top 3, this is top 3. Now we're gonna talk about Dune. Yes, Dune. Now I remember in my original review, Dune heavily weighed on the part if they made a second part because it's like, and I'm so sorry, it's like, and we're getting a little bit rated R. Dune felt like if they didn't make a part 2, because when I made the video review, I didn't know they were gonna make a part 2 until like a week after. Dune, I just thought it was a great art of storytelling. This is a visual advanced movie with soundtrack of Hans Zimmer, an amazing cast to sell the movie, as well as second part coming up, the cinematography, the movie industry forward, especially in IMAX. Like when you see this movie on a big screen, it just changes the way you look at film because it's like they made a monumental experience advancement in cinematography as well as the movies, well as Dune, because they curated this new level world building that to us, we're foreigners in it, but the way we can relate to it, it's so true because it can happen in real life. And even though this inspired Star Wars, this was a great like jump start, and I'm so happy they're making a part 2 because it's so dumb. They just left things open-ended. It's like when you get to a second base with a date, like you'll never know what that love feel like if you never went full intercourse. Like I'm sorry we're being rated R, but this is my channel. Like, you know, I'm sorry, but that's the way I could describe it to you. Dune was just an amazing movie all the way around. Second, I want to be honest with you, second and first place, this is just personal for me, but I really gotta explain my reasonings here. Okay, so second place, Alright guys, this list could not be perfect without Spider-Man No Way Home. Honestly guys, this Spider-Man movie to close out the trilogy of the MCU Spider-Mans is probably the best Spider-Man in the MCU. We got great moments. You can see this multiple times. It deals with a multiverse and there's secret cameos, but the story, it never loses the focuses of Peter Parker's Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Like yes, Doctor Strange in it, and I'm not gonna talk about spoilers, but even with the relationship between MJ and Ned, it's so heartbreaking and heartwarming to see that it's basically Peter Parker, Tom Holland turning into the adult version of Spider-Man that we all know, grown to love. Just like in the past, Andrew Garfield's or Tobey Maguire. Like I really thought this was a coming in age for him. Yes, it has action moments. Yes, it has good music, soundtrack, romance as well. But to be honest with you, it never loses the transformation of Peter Parker turning into the young adult Spider-Man. And I thought it was just a great closing off the chapter. And the way Sony and Marvel did it, it leaves it to interpretation. Like yes, hopefully we get more of them because there's a lot of still unanswered questions. The movie did close some questions, but they did way more to address not other things that we would love to know. So Spider-Man No Way Home, definitely top 2. Now number 1, I am so sorry, but this is just me personally. Honestly, my favorite movie that I really loved this year that I went to go see 4 times in theaters in Dolby was Last Night in Soho. Now this director Edgar Wright did this movie, and it's funny because the last other movies that I saw him at least 3 times in the movie was Baby Driver and Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. Hence Scott Pilgrim vs. the World came out 10th anniversary earlier this year in Dolby. That was the first time I saw it. I never watched it back in 2010, and those 2 movies deals with soundtrack incorporated into a movie, and I really love that style of Edgar Wright. Like I don't know if it's just me or him, but I love how those 2 movies are really incorporated into soundtrack, into music. And those are the only 2 movies in my life that I've seen like 2 or 3 other than like MCU films. But I love this because I love the aesthetics, I love the colors, the vibes in the 1970s. It's a dark, twisted, manipulated romance that you never get to see a lot. Like there's a dark side to it. I felt so connected to the characters because the main character Sandy, every time she went to sleep, she always dreamt of Anna Taylor-Joy's character, and I really love that because it just seemed like a better version of herself. I go way more in depth in the review, in my personal review. Last Night in the Soho just hit me on a very different emotional level because of what I was going through in my life. And yes, I get it, not everyone's going what I'm going through, but Last Night in the Soho, the colors, the soundtrack, visual landscapes of this movie, as well as Sandy trying to recollect who she is in this new world of London. I love the accents, just beautiful all the way around. Last Night in Soho, a lot of people definitely not watching it. Thank you for sticking around, and if you made it this far, I just want to say I appreciate you so much. What are your top 10 movies that you loved in 2021? I can't wait to do more content with you together as a team as we go into the new year. Take care guys, and please, thank you so much. Maybe consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell so you never miss a video. Take care guys.